Good news, everybody. The writer's strike is over and Exciting Episcopalians is back. And wow, do we have an exciting Episcopalian today. From the crown of Maine, our beloved Russ Dumond, which means of the mountains.
Of the mountains, correct.
How long were the Dumonds up there?
Let's see. The earliest paperwork that I can see was they came to Canada in the 1600s.
Wow.
Immigrated in the mid-1800s to the United States.
Of America, baby.
Yes.
And anybody speaking French in your home? You had a family of 4, I believe.
We had a family of 4, my mom and dad.
What were their names?
Donald and Janet.
Yeah?
They spoke French and English.
They did. Did you speak any French at home?
I did when I was a little kid.
Yeah?
And my grandmother babysat me when I was a little kid before going to school.
Yeah.
And she only spoke French.
Ah.
So I learned to speak French probably before I learned to speak English.
Interesting.
And as I was getting a little bit closer to having to attend the public schools, my parents decided that we need to start speaking more English to this young man because he'll be lost when he gets to school.
Right.
So they did, and then school started, and
The French went away.
French slowly but
I was up
surely
there
went away.
many, many times for the sled dog races, a lot of events. Oh, the biathlon races. There's a world-class biathlon facility there now. There's a Can-Am 250 sled dog race. There are a number of events. There's lots of great snowmobiling up in the
Right.
Crown of Maine.
Right.
And I was up there many, many times.
Right.
Wonderful town with a ski area downtown.
Correct. A little ski mountain. It was called the Fort Kent Ski Tow.
Yeah.
It was built in the, I believe, the mid-1960s.
Yeah.
There were just a lot of do-gooders. People wanted to have things for the local kids that didn't involve a lot of money.
Yeah.
So they built a small ski slope. It started with a rope tow.
Yeah.
Then it progressed to a T-bar. And where it stands now is probably still a T-bar.
But it's lighted.
It's
And
lighted.
No, there's a chair there. And you,
Okay.
did you ski?
I did.
See, you had a chance to ski
I had a
basically
chance.
inexpensively, if not free, and you start there, and if you end up on some big mountain, that's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
But-
I still remember my seasons pass stated how much the fee was, $10
For a whole
a
year.
whole season.
Isn't that great?
And up there, the season can start pretty early.
And
like
the county's still
Thanksgiving.
getting snow. I mean, if you're a snowmobiler, you got to go to Aroostook because some of the other places with global warming, we're not getting all the snow we used to get.
Yep.
The county's got it.
Yep.
And I think no town has a higher percentage of volunteers per capita than Fort Kent.
I would believe that.
What was it like growing up there for you? Good experience? You had a sister.
I had a sister. She's younger than I am.
Yeah.
But I had a sister. I had wonderful parents that just encouraged us to do anything we wanted to do within reason.
Yeah. And so what did you do before you played the saxophone?
As a little kid, let's see, I remember the time, of course, is a different era, but played outside with my friends a lot.
Yeah.
Had a best friend lived across the street. We were always doing. There were a lot of kids in the neighborhood that I grew up in.
Yep.
So we just, in the evenings after dinner, just hide and seek, softball,
Just like me.
all kinds of things.
One of the reasons that I identify with you so well is you're an Eastern Maine guy. We did the same thing.
Yep.
Lots of activities at school. There was plenty to do.
Yep.
The community raised its kids. It did a great job of doing that. And I know you were a great saxophonist. And
I wouldn't say great, but
You made the McDonald's All-American Band.
I did. That was one of those watershed moments.
Tell
in
me
my
about
lifetime.
that. Was there a tryout or?
There is. Back, for people who aren't familiar with it, from 1967 to 1992, the McDonald's Corporation sponsored a marching band. It was made up of 104 students, high school seniors, from all over the United States of America. 2 were selected from each state.
Wow. It's
Two
like a
from the
U.S. Senator, Russ Dumond. I like that.
2 from the District of Columbia, and 1 from the U.S. Virgin Islands, and 1 from...
Wherever. Did you march in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade?
We did.
Oh,
We marched in the Macy's Day Parade.
Ah.
Yeah. The whole experience was just wonderful.
I bet.
They, to get selected, every year, your high school band director would nominate 2 students.
Yeah.
And, it started with a letter, and then it involved an audition tape. Lots of forms were submitted, and like most of these things, you just submit it and know you'll never hear back from them
That's
again.
right.
And there was a telegram in October of 1992. It was a Saturday, and I was literally speechless.
A telegram.
Telegram.
Oh, you knew it was big time.
Big time.
Yeah.
You just knew it was big time. And then, I was literally speechless that I was selected to that thing.
Wonderful.
What a gift.
Yeah.
And in the intervening weeks, we started getting an awful lot of correspondence and detailed itineraries and all this wonderful stuff that is obviously put on by a world-class organization.
Yeah.
And everybody got flown into New York. They rented an entire hotel for the band for a week. This is right before Thanksgiving, for the week leading up to Thanksgiving. Tons of rehearsals, tons of activities around New York City, tons of marching practices, just tons and tons of fun, wearing out these students.
Sure. Wonderful.
Marched in the Thanksgiving Day Parade. Beautiful, crisp fall day.
Nice.
I was just...
Stayed right in step and didn't miss a note.
Didn't miss a note.
Beautiful.
Didn't miss a note.
Then you went off to as I was saying, we're Eastern Maine guys.
Yes.
So you did what every other person in Eastern Maine does. You went to the University of Maine.
I did. I went
Yes,
to the
sir.
University of Maine.
Where'd you live up there?
I lived in Cumberland Hall.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
I actually lived in Cumberland Hall for 4 years.
No kidding.
Very few people can say that.
And you were in the band.
I was in the band, yes. I was in, I can backtrack a little bit. When I was a senior looking to go to colleges, I had a music teacher that taught at the University of Maine. He's the reason I went there, because he just projected warmth and support and love and an obvious ability to teach.
What was his name? He probably watches Exciting Episcopalians.
David Dempsey.
David Dempsey.
David Dempsey. He actually taught at the University of Maine, Augusta for 10 years, but he would go up to Orono 1 day a week and teach lessons. Yeah. Not being a music major, I was not able to be in like the jazz band and some of their higher end bands.
What was your major?
I was a nursing major.
You were, even then.
Yep.
Now, did you complete all 4 years at the university, or did you come to USM?
I did not. I was the first year that the University of Maine had an accredited nursing program. Before that, you could do 2 years, then transfer to USM and finish it out.
All these wonderful-looking women would leave Maine after 2 years. It was a disappointment for me personally, but I guess it worked out for you. Now, you are what kind of a nurse?
I'm what's called a certified registered nurse anesthetist.
How do you become that? Is that a 4-year degree like a bachelor's, or does it require post-bachelor training?
It requires post-bachelor training. Yeah. It's at the time, it was a 2-year program.
Where'd you take that?
I took that from the Central Connecticut State University in New Britain, Connecticut. Okay. It was not super far from home, and it was affordable. Yeah. It's a state school. Yeah. And New England residents could get in-state tuition. Yeah. So I did that.
Why anesthesiology?
Nurse anesthesia. I worked as a floor nurse when I first started on the regular med-surg floor. Yeah. Did not love that.
Were there a lot of men doing that then?
It has always attracted a fairly high percentage of men.
It did?
It did. Okay. In fact, an awful lot of men that went into nursing in the day, that was what they were preparing to do. They were using that as a stepping stone to become a nurse anesthetist.
It was?
Yes.
Okay. And what attracted you to that?
After I left the med-surg, I went to work in the, the intensive care unit, where you have 1 or 2 patients instead of 10 or 12. Yeah. The acuity is higher, obviously. The work's a little more stressful, but I enjoyed being more one-on-one with patients. Yeah. I could focus better. I could just concentrate on 1 or 2 patients that were pretty ill, but I wouldn't get so disorganized that, like I found I got on the med-surg floor.
Yeah.
So
How about the pain and agony and suffering and all those things that you're trying to ease?
Yes.
Death.
Yeah.
Do you compartmentalize it? How do you deal with the trauma that these people are going through?
It's hard. I do compartmentalize it. I try not to take it home, and I've done a very good job for my 30 years doing this, not bringing it home.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm a human being. This is a human being. They're in their absolute worst moment of life.
Yeah.
And I get comfort just doing my small bit to help them get through one of the worst days or times of their lives.
I know one thing that you probably did to relieve some stress, because I know you from this, is running.
Correct.
You're a runner. You ran a lot.
I did
How
run a
much
lot.
did you run? I'm supposed to ask
Oh,
questions.
it started in high school. I was a wonderful couch potato as a junior high kid and early high school years. And somewhere along the way, I decided I was just going to start getting fit. I had joined a couple of sports teams, and the first thing they make you do in the spring is start running. And I found that I was exhausted by running, but I liked it. And after just even doing it a week, I felt like I was getting fitter and stronger. So I just stuck with it. So I ran as a stress release all through college, and in my early career. I probably did at times 50-mile weeks.
Nice.
Many, many, many half marathons.
A lot of halves. What could you run a half in?
I think I'm not a speed person, probably 1:38 or
That's a good half.
1:40 was my best
That's a very good
time.
half. That's a sub 3:30 marathon.
Yeah, which I would not be able to do, I believe, a
Well,
3:30 marathon. But
I'm sure you could. If you did 1:38 half, I think you did.
Yeah.
But who knows? But that's pretty good. That's
Yeah.
what, 8-minute miles, just about.
Just about, yeah. That was my best.
That's good.
Yeah. It's been downhill since then, but
Tell
I'm
me
still
about
out there.
Do you have any trouble with that you can't, like I can't go out and run a 5K in 20 minutes. I'm lucky if I can run it in 30.
I am happy just getting out the door and running, whether it's a mile or 5 miles. I come home, I'm able to do it, pain-free mostly.
That's a good attitude,
Which
Russ.
is a good attitude. It's the attitude I have.
I know another runner in this church. Her name is Mary Dumond.
Yes.
Now, how did you meet Mary?
Well, Mary and I met at Mercy Hospital. I was working at Mercy for 10 years, and this would have been 2012. She had left her previous job at Orthopedic Associates and started working in our recovery room, which is called PACU. And one day, there she was, a new face. I thought, oh, hi.
Yeah.
I had said I would never date anybody that I work with.
Yeah.
So we had met up as a group in a happy hour social function, and we noticed each other. We had a nice little talk, and then she sent me a note sometime after that if we should just go meet up for a drink. And I put her off because I said I really don't like to go out with people I work with. Yeah. So this little dancing around the issue lasted pretty much the whole winter.
Yeah.
And finally I agreed to meet her out for a drink on a Friday night in the spring, and I just was really taken by her.
She's delightful.
Just really taken by her, her personality, her commitment to the things she's passionate about, and the people in her life, and one thing led to another, and we've been together ever since.
I was going to say, and also Jayhawk basketball, right?
She's into Jayhawk basketball. She's a Kansas native, went to school at the University of Kansas, and introduced me and indoctrinated me into the Jayhawk way.
And when and where did you marry?
We got married at the church on Stevens Avenue, Deering Center. It's a Baptist church. She was a member of that congregation at the time. I was a Roman Catholic.
I was thinking in Fort Kent, named Dumond, you probably grew up in the Catholic faith.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. Every Sunday.
And where is Catholicism in your life, and where was religion in your life? I know you're a regular attendee here. You could contribute so much. But tell us about your spiritual journey a bit.
I've always, I grew up in a household where religion was important. We went to church every Sunday. My parents, they were not big on reading the Bible or praying at home, but I just saw the love they had for each other and the love they had for their children, and they essentially followed the Catholic playbook.
Yeah.
And that just rubbed off on me. So when I moved out, went to college, I continued to go to church every Sunday at the Newman Center.
At the Newman Center. No
Center
kidding.
Right on College Avenue in Portland, in Orono.
Yeah.
It was just a different way of worship. It's a little more casual than what I was used to.
Sure.
But I really liked it, and got to talk to and meet some of the other students that a lot of us showed up every week.
That's great.
And I kept that up. When I first moved to Portland area, I went to St. Bart's in Cape Elizabeth.
Is that Catholic? That must be Catholic.
St. Bart's is a Catholic church.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fred Morse, who's a priest, Father Fred grew up across the street from me, and Frank Murray grew up a block away.
Okay, I remember Frank Murray.
So I had two Catholic kids in my neighborhood that
Okay.
became priests. But,
Yes.
and you have you make a big contribution to Trinity Episcopal Church, and that I know you've played solos. This week you were a stewardship speaker. What else are you doing around Trinity, and what's Trinity mean to you?
I am also on the vestry.
You are on the vestry.
I am
Okay.
on the vestry.
Good for you.
I enjoy going to that every month.
Bless you.
It's a little bit of a commitment. I've enjoyed getting to know the members of the vestry a little bit more on a personal level.
I understand.
And I also enjoy hearing about what's going on behind closed doors of a church. It's a little bit of a mystery unless you get involved.
Yep.
It's been eye-opening.
That's the way I felt. When you get on Vestry, you learn that there's a lot more going on, not just going on around here, but how it happens. There's a lot of hands making things work.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
Yep.
Anything you want to share with us on Exciting Episcopalians before we go to our commercial break? I got one for you. You went to a reunion concert of the All-American Band. When was that? I know you had a good time.
I did. I had a great time. Like a lot of people, after college, I stopped playing my instruments, and involved myself in work and all the things you do along the way. And it's always been in the back of my mind to play again, and I never really did. And the more years that went by, the further in the distance this activity, and it almost gets to the point where you're even afraid to take it out because it's just going to be so humbling and embarrassing how far I've slipped. But Mary, when we first met, she had, of course, came to my house and checked out where I lived, and she was just walking around. I was in the kitchen making some dinner for us and just letting her snooping around.
Yeah.
And she came back from where the bedrooms are, and she said that she was very surprised that I was a member of the McDonald's All-American Band. So that roped me in. Probably sealed the deal for her. I explained that I was a member, and how did she know about it? Well, she was in marching bands in high school and college. So she said, you should start playing again. Obviously, you had some ability at one point in time in your life, so it's a shame to not use that, especially as you're getting older and a little more time on your hands. It would be nice if you start to play again. I filed it in the back of my mind and never took out a horn. And she came to me one day and said, the McDonald's All-American Band alumni are interested in forming a reunion, and I think it looks like they're going to be pulling the plug and actually making this happen. And I think that I should go to that. So I said, no way. And she said, I think you really should, and you should go once, and then if you hate it, I'll never bring this up again.
Yeah.
So I went in 2019 for the first time, first reunion.
Yeah.
Probably about 35 people showed up. We were blown away with what we could accomplish in just a day and a half.
Yeah.
And that started it. And now we have reunions once or twice a year.
Oh, great.
And it's something I greatly look forward to. We get together, I know these people, it grows every year. The music is even better every year, and it's just a wonderful activity.
Well, we'll have to watch for you doing that. I've seen Russ with I think the Cumberland Community Band and the Falmouth Community Band. Was that
I
Falmouth?
played with the Cumberland Community Band.
What was there a thing?
Falmouth?
Something in Falmouth that I came and saw you play. It was an indoor thing. I can't remember. But you played with the Cumberland Community
I
Band.
did.
It was very good. So.
I did.
Well, thank you for joining us on Exciting Episcopalians, and thank you so much for all you bring to this church. We need more Eastern Maine guys, I think. We're basic guys, grew up saluting the flag, going to church on Sunday, going to the University of Maine, and trying to give a little something to the community.
Norman Rockwell.
Norman Rockwell, here we are, especially with those little skinny arms with the big elbows. So now that the writer's strike is over, you can look forward to many more exciting adventures in Exciting Episcopalians. My thanks to our guest, Russ Dumond, and thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again soon for Exciting Episcopalians.